it too far behind you. We'll put it behind us.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Josh, Mr. Tucker, flag will be right. They're not able to.
Yeah,
Look at the witch's wall up there in the corner, that corner window. Can you see it? In the, oh, yeah. Spider. Okay, we'll go around with introductions. How about if we start here? with
Josh Stevens.
Josh, Warren Bucky,
Scott Sutherland.
Emily Thorne,
That far.
Tina Van,
Jennifer Strawman.
Roy Harvey.
Jennifer Rose.
Dixie Bean,
Melvin Shook.
Sean Colors.
Tina Van Meter. Okay, welcome everybody and happy Cinco de Mayo. I've never celebrated that, but anyway, it's all cool. So first up, we have maintenance and transportation updates from Josh.
Dr. Van told me she does ask about the calendars for the two SBA projects that we have going on. The one in color is the one that is going on right now, the roofing and HVAC at Moorfield Middle. The other is the one for next summer. It'll be the entrance to Moorfield Middle as well as the doors, exterior doors at East Hardy Elementary School.
Thank you.
You probably need a copy as well, don't you? They are tentative. They are scheduled to change. It's more of a guide than anything. They've already removed the boilers out of Moorfield Middle School. We finagled a couple things. Mr. Stuck and I keep a pretty good check on the cooling tower right now to keep the building cool. It is a lot better. We had a couple of discussions last week about getting it cool because it wasn't cool with what we thought it should. We got it working now. They're not really going to start anything until June 2nd, but they are going to start bringing equipment on site prior to June 2nd, so they can start their work as soon as the students leave the buildings. They said it would be safe at that point for the staff to still be in the building for those couple of days. That not a big issue. Staff's around because they'll just be removing a couple of things and whatnot. The first thing they'll do is take the gravel off the top, fix any holes that they may make, and then they'll work from there, removing and whatnot, and bring in all the HVAC. But we've met every 2 weeks on it. It seems to be moving well. Dr. Van Meter met us for the last meeting with the roofers. I like them.
Good.
Yeah, so that's where we are with them. With the other one for next year, you'll see, I think it's this week, that we were supposed to meet to do our interviews with the architects. It didn't work with our schedules. We checked with the SBA. They said it was fine. This thing's tentative. We have our interviews next week with the architects, to choose the architects for the big entrance here at the middle school. But it is more of a guideline than anything, but it gives you a pretty good idea of how it's all going to work together.
You thought you met with the architects? You all have to approve the architects. So we have to do interviews, and we narrow it down to a certain number, and then we interview them. At least is how we did it the last time anyway, per SBA guidance for the current project. And then we have a team that interviews them, and then we bring them to you guys to approve.
Okay, because before, we've always interviewed the architectural teams for like when we built schools and stuff.
Okay, I've never
But I
been
mean,
part of
it's,
that. If you want to come, you 100% can be part of it.
So the SBA says that we're not included in that we're just
So-
basically a rubber stamp.
Well, my only project was the last one that we did, which would be the roofing and HVAC here. And we met with them pretty extensively because I didn't know what I was doing. And they walked us through it and we interviewed that group and then you guys approved them. But if you want to be part of that, I don't know if that's I would assume that would be fine. We're interviewing them next week, 3 different firms. And if you want to, and I can even double check, maybe it's just something that we didn't know about.
Oh. Well, I don't want to be stepping on anybody's toes.
You certainly aren't stepping on my toes.
Nor mine.
No, not a problem at all.
You know, we have great confidence in you all. It's just always before that we were included on the interviews, picking the architectural team. Weren't we, Doug? Yeah.
I apologize. I was not familiar with that. The last one was our first one, and we did it differently.
Sure.
We're doing. Do you want me to just? Do you remember if it's Tuesday or Wednesday? I know it starts at 8:30.
I don't.
I can send you all the dates. It's next week, and then if you want to come, you can
That'd be
100%
fine.
come. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. I'll shoot that out to you and make sure you
Is that a bad
you
thing
have
for
that.
No, that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, thanks.
Have you hired clerk of the works yet, or
We did.
who is that?
Steve
Williams.
Williams.
Mhm. We interviewed two
We were interviewed two,
individuals.
and he did well, and he's done well so far. He's been at the meetings. He's actually been helping with the air in the buildings.
Well, his last year or so at the school, at the board office, was pretty much working with the construction team. He was there every day. So
He had just came from one of the Hampshire County projects.
Yeah,
He
he
did
did.
that for the last year.
The new
So,
school, yeah.
And he truly is a great fit. Having that little bit of experience with the knowledge that he has from our side and being, you know, what he knows about this building as well. You know, so he really is a good fit.
Yeah, he, it seemed to be that was more of his forte than people management.
Agreed.
So, I have a question. On the roof, did we, I think that you had said at one time that the stones that were on the roof that you were gonna reuse?
Yes.
Are we still gonna do that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, we showed them where they were taken when we met with them last Wednesday.
okay.
Yeah.
I just remember you saying that.
Yeah, so they'll just use a vacuum. They use a vacuum, it goes right onto the dump truck, and they'll just drive to the bottom of the hill to the board office, dump them, come back, do another one.
Daggone,
Yeah, so there's no shovels, rakes, anything like that, it's all vacuum.
that's my idea.
Yeah.
Of what?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Which one is he clerk of the works for the
The
project?
one right now, Moorfield Mills roof and HVAC.
So really nothing has happened with the other one and won't until the architectural firm is chosen. And
Right, and not there yet.
yeah, we're just not quite to that point yet.
I had a question. Maybe you can just give me some guidance. I know we beat this dead horse a million times. Clean Air Solutions, I noticed we got billed for like 6 months. Was that previous months or months coming
So
up?
we
or-
reached out multiple times, and they never sent the bill. Barbie and I, sent text messages, emails, everything. And finally, it went clear back to, I don't want to take the wrong one, but I think it went clear back to July, maybe even August. But it went all the way back to last summer.
Well, I noticed we were paid up through February, so that would probably be about right.
Yeah. We reached out multiple times. And
That's kind of concerning.
It is.
Somebody that can't do the billing or they're doing their job.
They are. They were here the other day, and I see them.
So someone is checking it.
Yeah, we see the filters in the dumpsters.
Okay.
Yeah, and the guys always tell me when they see the filters in the dumpsters.
Good.
Yeah, they were here the other day.
Good. It's just concerning when somebody don't bill for 6
I
months.
agree. I
You know,
agree
that's-
as well.
And I don't understand how Barbie even keeps up with it after that long. You know, it drives her crazy, I'm sure. So maybe somebody needs to say, look, you need to get your bill somehow.
We did multiple times.
Well, it's
Yeah,
one of those
I
deals.
can't force them to say the bill.
Well, you can either say that, well, if you want to continue doing business with us, then we need to get your billing.
This utility sheet that Barbie does, wonderful.
Oh, good.
It really is a help to be able to look at this and see.
On your work order
system. There's not a date, it doesn't show a date when the work order was entered into the system. Is there a reason for that?
Might be the way the system's set up.
Those are those new ones that they.
Josh, that might be my fault.
I was gonna say, it would have
It's
to be something
new.
in the format because they are on ours.
I can look, I think I can add it back
Print it
in.
out for you all.
I was just curious
Yeah.
to see what the turnaround time was. We used to be able to
It's not
do
very
that.
long. It's usually, a lot of day times it's hours, not.
Yeah, I know we used to be able to see that, but I know.
I'll make sure I put it on the next one.
Okay. It's not that big a deal, it's just something I noticed. That's all. Yeah, I noticed on the current one, very few still waiting to be complete.
Hey, you all jump on those right away.
We try. There's the issue that we have a lot of times, it takes a long time, this new vendor packet thing. A lot of vendors will not get back to us. He's still waiting on a latch for one of his bathrooms. The vendor won't send the packet back, so we can't get the latch. So I think we're maybe 3 months on a simple door latch. I knew that was gonna be an issue with us, because when you're buying a $3 part, to take 45 minutes to fill this packet out, it's not worth it to that vendor. So that's where we get stuck with little simple things like that. But usually those are the simple, but the supplies, change, pop back up, the electrical pieces are coming in. There is things every now and again, but usually we're waiting on a part rather than it being a decision or us not being able to do something. Usually we're waiting on something that's that vendor packet stuff.
Is there someone else that we could purchase it from?
We ordered one, it didn't work. So we tried that route, it didn't work for us, so we had to go back to who we had ordered it from, so we were waiting on the vendor packet from them, so, yeah.
Have the terrorists caught up with us?
No, but they're going to. So the floor wax stripper, they called me, I think it was 3 weeks ago, and they gave me six to 8 weeks, and they said the tariffs were going to pick up, and I needed to get my orders in. Is it scare tactic? I don't know. I just went with the same thing we've always done before, but at the same time, it was a scare tactic enough that I got my order in and told them to send it, so in case there's tariffs. Yeah.
It's gonna catch us all sooner
Sure.
or later.
It'll be better.
I hope I live long enough to see it.
Thank you.
All right, strategic plan updates. You all have packets that look like this. As extra, should anyone want one?
What does it look like?
Okay,
Okay.
it's this. The front page would be, okay, so what you have in front of you would be, you have your strategic plan goals from this year, which would be this front page, printed straight from the grants and planning system page. The 3 goals hitting leadership, academics, and attendance. The next pages in print that you can read would be several pages of, you have the goal title, and I've written here on the side, because the pages continue, you don't have all the titles and all the pages. Leadership, you've got progress monitoring, data sources, what strategies, the action steps, and then the progress notes would be like where we are, what we did, things we need to change, things we need to add in, things we need to do better, things that went well. It continues like that. The next page, you have more leadership. Then it starts with academics at the bottom. Academics goes the longest. You'll see the leadership and the work done in academics. Academics goes for another page, another page, another page. And then you get to, at the very bottom, you get to where you'll see our attendance, and there's just a little bit with it. Not that there was just a little bit done, but we did, with the goals and things that we're working on. The emphasis is on academics, tied in with leadership and tied in with attendance there at the bottom, kind of like the cherry on top of the sundae for the county with their goals. That's, we could sit here and talk all night about these goals and go through and discuss and talk, and I know Mr. Stutt would love to chime in on grading, because that is a favorite topic of his. but we won't go there tonight. But I wanted to give it to you. You have it all there should you want to see what we've done. It's all there as it is on the grants and planning system. Then, from what we've learned, from what we've done this year, you see tentative, and it's all tentative. This page, the next after the Hardin County, it's labeled at the top, Hardin County School Strategic Plan Goals and Action Steps for 2025-26. We've had our goals set based on what we've achieved for the last several years. These are the tentative goals, and below them, you'll see the action steps. And to the side of them, you'll see that we are linked the money that we don't have in the system yet, but they assure us is coming from like Title I, Title II. There's one part that I pulled in special ed because it's talking about interventions and things, and we're really going to be targeting interventions. I know that Ms. Barr and Dr. Van Meter are really working hard in that department for the coming year, and that's all tied in here to our tentative goals. But the goals, again, deal with leadership development, student proficiency in literacy and numeracy, and reducing chronic absenteeism. That is what we're working on. I'm not really explaining it to you now. I'm giving it all to you. We can, if we would go through this, we should do our own meeting just on this topic one night, and we can talk all night, but we're probably going to start like noon because it would go on that long. But you have it there. If you've got further questions, feel free to hit me up. But this is printed from the system, and this is tentatively how it's going to go into the system, building in, because all this money, everything that's in these papers is linked to your federal funds, which we don't have yet, but they're assuring us they'll be put into the system soon.
Who is assuring you?
The people at the State Department of Education are assuring this because they keep saying that they have been assured of this, and then they laugh and say, we're telling you all this now. So whoever asks us first, we're gonna hold your money longer. If you ask us after we've told you that the money's coming, they're getting hit with us. We're all asking them money questions.
And I understand why.
We're all asking money questions. They swear it's coming. Dr. Van Meter has signed the paperwork she's had to sign to make the money come. Right now, it's just a trickle down effect. And that is all I know about the money.
In goal 2, it says that the 70% of K-8 students will demonstrate proficiency or significant growth in literacy and numeracy.
Yeah.
What is considered significant growth?
Well, this is where we break down and talk lots about growth. And when it depends on what, okay, are you gonna look at the GSA scores? Or are you gonna look at the benchmark scores? We're showing it that the kids are showing growth, because they may not all do stellar on that GSA test, but they're definitely showing growth, and that's what we're looking for in the benchmarking and the formative assessments that you're doing in class. That's why the goal's written that way, so it's not just, we're not gonna meet the goal if we don't all hit a certain number on the state test. It's the kids are showing growth because there's more weight, I know the state only measures, and this is a sore topic, state only measures growth based on the report card, and they do it based on the GSA test. But if the kid's moving forward, the kid is showing growth, and we want to recognize as such.
I would say
That's why the goal's
significant,
written there.
I would
written there.
define significant growth as 20% or more, is how I would define significant growth. And
Okay.
just the growth rate, I think is what you've asked me.
Okay, but it's just, I was trying to get to as well, the fact that we want them to be showing growth in more than one way.
Yeah.
Because they are.
And it's hard to put a number on that too, because it depends on the kid.
It is very specific to
Sure,
the
in their
kids.
ability.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
It is very specific to the kid. We'll take any feedback on these goals and growth and the action steps. The action steps are written so that the county can support the schools. The schools have had all they have the goals. We've shared them at the last 2 principals meetings so that we can build, cohesive plans all together, schools and county, working on the same areas.
testing is happening
Now.
this week.
Testing's happening
Testing
now.
for-
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And what does the GSA stand for?
General Summit Assessment.
Okay.
Or achievement tests.
Yeah, it's the old, Sat 9.
Let's test,
What's
All
that?
the-
You
all
got
those-
all the ones
all
before.
the things, yeah.
Exactly. This, Mrs. Bodkins gave us of the absenteeism. Is that typical of all the schools or? does
I
anyone have
don't
any
know
idea?
that. I don't know, I don't have that paper.
This is, okay, all you need. It's eye-opening.
Whatever she did work.
Oh, Ms. Bodkins?
Yeah.
Well, I know that our social workers are on attendance, like, they are on attendance. They try to figure out the root cause. They work with the parents, the schools, the families, the students. But it takes people like Ms. Bodkins sitting back up and following through and making the contact and being a presence in the course to make the attendance rate change too.
Didn't change it enough, I got time on Facebook.
Well, but still,
Yeah, it is work, but definitely. It's.
Anyway, this is everything. It is accurate. Please ask questions.
Is a 504 plan the same as an IED?
They are not the same. They are not the same items.
Basically, a 504 deals more with health issues like ADHD,
Okay,
stuff like that. I mean, we're still at a mixture. One person tells me that anytime a child has a mental health issue, like we had 2 students evaluated for mental health recently, then I'm supposed to form a 504 for them. But then another person tells me I'm not to, so I don't know.
It really impacts their education.
Okay, well, it does.
well, a person that would have a 504 plan could also have an IED.
No, they cannot have that.
No, one or the other.
Yeah, because it was just one of ours that was in a psych hospital. They came back and told me I needed a 504, and I said, she has an IEP, and I can't do that.
So
Praise the Lord.
if they needed a 504 and they have an IED, would you delete the IED? And update, I mean IEP, and then update them to a,
No, the IEP, I think is a little bit stronger than the
It's a lot
504.
Well, it just depends on whatever the child needs. The 504 provides accommodations that's related to the medical condition that's impacting the child.
okay, I see the difference then.
He's popping up on my Facebook, just putting 504 and IEP, I haven't hit it yet.
Yeah, it's your turn. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
This is the annual desk audit information, which I review with you guys every year. So this is the information that the indicators, or each of these indicators, and that's how our special ed program is graded, or it's how it's evaluated each year. So if you look at the second page, you have the breakdown of which the indicator is for. And the ones with the boxes around them are indicators 5, 6, 9, and 10 are actually things that are measured this school year. And the other ones, like if you look at indicator 3, you can see it's really long. There's 3, A, B, C, and D. Those are the assessment indicators. So those are based on our assessment results, like the GSA from last school year. The ones from this year haven't been updated, obviously, since they're testing right now. The assessment piece, they put more into that. There used to be a few indicators, and now they break it down by grades 4, 8, and 11. They break it down with proficiency rate and also the growth rate, like Mrs. Strotman was talking about. You can see there in the color-coded one, the assessment piece, and this is just for students with disabilities or students with IEPs, and it's just IEPs, not 504s. So there you can see that our area that's most needy for special education is the assessment piece. Unfortunately, we have several indicators that are showing 0% proficiency rate or growth for those students. For most of the other indicators, we're usually pretty good. The first one's graduation. The second one's students with IDs dropping out of school. Usually we're good with those things.
What does ASA stand for?
That's the alternate summative assessment, yes. So that's for the students with the most significant cognitive disabilities. They don't take the regular test, they take the DLM or the dynamic learning map test. And it is more hands-on. The teachers have to go around and actually get their items, and the students have to interact with those items, like maybe compare the size of a shoe to an eraser, things like that.
Thank you.
Let's see, down for the percentage of course, you guys are very familiar with the suspensions and expulsion hearings and things. So if those students have an IEP, then that goes into this report as well. And if you look at the indicators down lower on there, they are included there. And then the ones like 7 are the preschool indicators, some of them. We are in the red for one of those. That's the percentage of students in pre-K with improved behavior outcomes. And that's they're compared when they come into the system and then when they exit before they go to kindergarten. So the thought is that they should always improve because they are graded against themselves. So it's just basically how much growth they have made or not being measured against other students.
So it looks like the red things are the bad things.
Yes, yes, yep. And this is pretty typical. For the last several years, we've only been in the red for the assessment pieces. Last year, we were in the green for the behavior indicator and the preschool indicator also. A couple of years ago, we were in the red for the graduation. But that was the year that we had a lot of students that graduated on alternate diploma, and they do not count towards our graduation rate. Not reading through everything, but yeah, just go through those questions and have anything. Or if you look at it and think of something, you can use.
So this is, explain to me where these numbers came from taking the GSA, and when did they take it?
This would have been last school year.
Okay, that's what I thought you said this was.
Yes. So then our ADA for 26 next year will be reflective of the scores from the tests students are taking right now.
But the red down there for improved outcomes and behavior,
Yes.
is that not assessed through the GSA, is it?
No, that is preschool. That's the ERS system for the preschool students. Theirs is a little bit different. They're rated when they come in on 3 different categories. The teachers rate them based on what they can do, really. How they
Okay, so
are
basically
performing.
it's teacher observation and,
Yes, and the student is rated against themselves, so they do the ELRS usually 3 times a year, so they're rated each time. And of course, the hope is that they are improving because they are being looked at against themselves, like each child specifically. So you look at each one, it's great to see what they did. It's not like they need 5 letters now and 10 letters then. Could be they were able to sit for 30 seconds and now they can sit for 40 seconds to attend to a task.
So
that has to be.
we won't see how these kids have progressed until they're in the 11th. We won't see about them anymore, but we will see grade 8 in 3 years and the others in 4.
Right.
It's like, holy cow, it's kind of the cow's already out of the barn
Right.
when you see the numbers.
Yes, and we have complained to the State Department about that because they're not compared against that set of students. It's the next year's cohort, so it's totally different students, totally different situations, So they are trying to work on a system where we will actually be measuring the same students throughout the period of time, so we can actually see that cohort's growth.
Yeah,
So that's
that-
something.
yeah, it would be much better.
So that's our code, but through the,
Of course, it'd mean more testing, but
well, I think just track differently.
Yeah, tracking, yes.
Our PACE group belongs to the Council of Administrators of Special Education. And we've spoken with the State Department about trying to come up with a different system, be the same test, but at least it would be measured differently. So we could actually look at it to see how much growth was made from last year to this year instead of,
taking the same test that they had in the 4th grade and the 5th grade, is that what I'm hearing you say?
I'm hard time explaining it. It's basically these scores were for these kids last year. So next year, they wouldn't be reported on, right? Because they'd be in the 5th
That's
grade or the
correct.
9th grade, yes, yeah.
But they would have some sort of
Yes,
test.
they're still tested every year, like
Right.
5th through 8th grade.
But it, so that you could let us know what
Right.
their test grades are.
Yes, and we're hoping that would be, they would change something so it's easier to track those students throughout the period of time they're tested.
So could you track just the 4th and the 8th grade for us? I think that'd be helpful, that we'd be able to see, because we all have goals of improvement and stuff.
I'm pretty sure that the testing site, just lets you pick a grade level. It'll
Yeah.
give that, yeah, it ranks that automatically for you, so that's easy to do.
Zoom or whatever,
Yeah.
you can see that.
Yeah, so we can print it, Dixie, and get you those reports whenever we do the testing stuff. That's easy to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, because that would be helpful to see what they've done in a year, because my goodness, a bunch of them were 0%. And some even had that alternative testing.
Right.
Which it sounds like that their cognitive ability,
Right.
if they have that,
Yes.
is,
And sometimes it's misleading too, because especially for the alternative, there may only be one student at grade level that's tested. So that.
yeah, you're seeing their score. But it'd be helpful to be able to see that a little bit more.
How many students you have with IEPs and 504s, do you know? I don't think.
With IEPs, roughly 470. Yeah.
Wow.
IEP tourism.
They're not gifted either, are
No, gifted actually does not count.
And there's different number for 504 then.
Yes, we probably have 50, I'd say, 504s.
That number's better than I expected.
Yes. And now the state's telling us, a student can have a learning disability, but we could give them 504 instead of an IEP, just based on how much need they have. So
So
Is that better, you think, or?
it just depends on how much we're struggling and what the needs are.
So they would base it as congenital? Okay. That's what I would think they would, because,
And our numbers have increased a little bit too, because I don't know if you remember last year, I talked about the developmental delay category. Now it's extended through age 8. So some of those students before, they would test out or they would no longer be eligible and we'd have to wait a couple of years. But now we're able to keep them in the system, track them, and then we make that determination when they turn 8 instead of 6.
Especially if students still waited for the money, they're not able to work. That changed several years.
Yeah.
Like 12
Long time.
years ago, I think. It's been a long time.
It used to be like 1.5 or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Who changed that, the state or the federal government?
I would imagine that the State Department
I
did,
believe so.
because I think different states do
Yes.
that still.
That makes sense because it takes more to educate a special needs
Yes.
student.
Well, from what they've said, some counties were giving students IEPs.
Just need the money.
Yes.
of course, you got 3 times the money.
They do in
Yeah.
southern counties, they won't, eastern, southern counties.
Yeah,
That's not right now.
well, I can remember them
Thank you,
saying it
Beth.
was advantageous for them to be classified.
Yeah, more money.
Sure.
Now,
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Do we have any public comments?
No.
Okay. Next,
I would like to make one, right, because I'm going to be here in a few minutes. We have two of the finest janitors now on duty. They are working 110%, and you hired some women, you did good.
What you do, beat them with a stick?
No, I have not said a word, have I?
well, you need to tell them they're doing a good job.
Oh, I do all the time. In fact, I tell our 12 to 8, I don't want to burn her out. I mean, she just tries to help and do so much that I don't want to burn her out.
That's great.
She says she loves it here.
That's good to hear.
That's great.
Good,
Positive note for once.
Wonderful.
That's great.
good.
That's good news.
Consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent items. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it's approved 5-0.
Right.
4-0.
Yeah,
Roll
Mr.
call.
Rory left. You had to go.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see him leave. Okay, under unfinished business, tabled MTS bid extension.
Motion to take, MTS bill off the table.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to remove the MTS bid from the table. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it's off the table. So now do we need to make a motion to approve it so we can discuss
I
it?
move to approve the MTS bid for the 25-26 year.
Second.
I was gonna bump
I
you.
was waiting. I'll second.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to discuss the MTS bid. Now we'll get to it.
So what questions, I apologize, I had to miss the last meeting. What questions do you all have? I was looking to extend this bid. They've been great to work with. They've been very, very responsive for us. Believe Sheena got you the contract information on how much we've spent relatively in the last year for them. So what questions do you have for me?
Well, that was my biggest question, what we were paying for the annual contract, and that was $6,600, I
Yes.
believe. And that covers labor, I believe is the way I understood it.
Normal business hours labor, yes.
Okay. I noticed we had received a bill on, or Barbie had paid a bill on the 7th, it says labor for replacing something in an oven in East Hardy.
Mhm. I think that was outside of normal business hours that they had to hit us on that because of the need, the very quick need. We had that oven was actually going up to 500, 550 degrees on that. It lit some food on fire for us.
Okay.
So I think they were working us in on that to get that in quicker.
So they came out of normal business hours, that's what
To
you're
my
saying?
understanding, yes.
And whose option, who makes the decision whether to come during normal or out of normal?
That they should be getting approval from us. That was a bill that was from earlier than that. So I'm not 100% sure what that is, but in the future, I'm going to have them coming to me to make sure that I approve that on that before, because we don't want them coming outside of this.
Well, right.
Or anything, unless it's an absolute
Sure.
emergency, that this is the only time they have and we have to have it fixed.
Right.
So will you contact someone in Hardin County?
Yeah,
To make that decision?
I would be asking them to speak with Josh or myself
Okay.
to approve them when they're coming on that.
Good deal. Now, this equipment list, is that current to what equipment you have now, or is this?
I'm currently inventorying, I
Okay.
believe so, but I want to hand inventory myself as I'm new.
Good, good.
So I have no reason to not trust
Right,
anything that's
well,
going forward.
We
but
appreciate
I
that.
want to inventory myself just to make sure that, also that I'm incredibly familiar with what's in each of the 6 kitchens.
Right.
Good deal.
So I don't
That's great.
know if I got that little list or not.
It was part of that email that you got.
You probably did not print it out myself.
Okay,
And this
The list was within the contract itself.
Right.
okay.
Yes.
She'd sent an email,
No parts,
No, parts are covered in that.
just labor.
labor and travel.
We're in travel.
Yes,
Label,
labor.
right.
We're Where do you come from?
I believe they come from Winchester.
Yeah.
Winchester.
So it's a little bit of travel to East Hardy, a little bit more to Moorfield, but it's the closest bit that
That's-
we were able to get to my understanding.
And this is what she did this.
That's all the equipment list owned by the county that she has current now, and she's gonna redo all that for us.
Oh, that's wonderful.
When you do that, would you get us a copy of that, please?
Yes, absolutely. I can get you an inventory list. It'll probably be, to be very honest with you, it's probably gonna be something I'm working on over the summer. To
Okay,
get that
no hurry,
inventory pulled together.
no hurry at all. That's just good to see. Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
When you do your list, are you gonna put the age of the equipment on there?
To the best that I'm able to ascertain. Some, I think, to my knowledge, all of the equipment is, that I've seen so far has a date on it. And so it should. But if there is a piece for it's the steamer that I am trying to replace in Northfield High School, and I'm hoping, waiting to hear back on the equipment grant. It's 30, it's my age, it's 30 couple years old. So some of the stickers may not be perfectly legible, but yes, if at all possible to ascertain, I have to put the age.
Okay, that'd be helpful.
As we're deciding each year what to replace,
All right,
Yeah, what's
obviously the
not
things
less
on
than.
fire first, and then
Literally,
literally, yeah,
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely. Any other questions?
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Does anything ever get too old to be covered by your contract?
No, not that I'm aware of, no.
You probably just can't get parts. And you
Yes,
get a bad
that's the
mix.
biggest thing we were running into is not being able to get parts of things that are over.
Yeah. That's something that have to be machined or something. Okay, under new business. Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor of the MTS bid extension, aye. Aye. Opposed? And it's approved 4-0. Now, under new business. Approval of the summer food service program boxes bid. We have a motion and a second to approve this. We have a handout on this. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And it's approved 4-0. The next thing, Hardee County Schools salary schedule for our coaches. I gotta find it. Come on now. I'll second it. How you like that?
You're good.
Well, I saw it because the only addition is the soccer coach.
Correct.
Does everybody have that document? I can't remember if it was $750 or $850.
$850
with
with 2% of the teaching salary.
Okay. Any discussion?
I had a couple of questions. Where the salary is a certain set amount plus a percentage of the teaching salary, how does that apply to coaches who are not teachers?
We take that person's education and we put them on the scale, and wherever they would fall, we plug them in. And if they have 0 years of coaching, we put them in at 0 years teaching, and then their coaching years of experience bump them up as in teaching years of experience. So if you have a bachelor's degree and you have 5 years of coaching experience with a school system, we would plug them in, bachelor's degree, 5 years experience, and that's how we take their teaching salary. We take 2% of that.
So
What if
how do we compare to other counties for salary?
We're lower.
That's not enough for an AD. That's-
Oh, no,
that's
it's not.
a job. It'll be twice.
Sarah and I discussed that today, actually.
Okay, I have another question. For varsity, well, middle school and varsity cheerleaders, and this is something that I've advocated 40 years ago when I was doing the job. They get paid 1 salary for the whole year. $12.50 for varsity, $8.50 for junior varsity, or middle school.
Football, basketball.
They coach their squads 2 seasons. They coach during football, they coach during basketball. Why aren't they paid for 2 seasons?
I think they just paid that amount because it's one position.
I know, but
One
they
person does
coach
it.
for the whole year.
I think you could, my suggestion would be if you wanted to add to that, you would add to it a certain amount instead of breaking it into 2 seasons. You would just take what you think those 2 seasons are worth and make it one amount because it's one person, one position. You could add more to it, but
Is there any way we can amend that?
this is yours. So you guys can do whatever you want to do with it. I would just caution you
Yeah,
that once you pick one of them and you add to it, you're gonna have everybody else here telling you why they want more too.
I don't
But
think,
it's yours.
No other coach coaches for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
They do, they get paid.
If
They get-
do, they get paid for it.
Yeah, they get a little
They get paid
more.
for it.
well.
They're
the
getting
difference-
$12.50. They're getting $12.50 and 4%, where like your varsity, but that's assistant. Let's find another one.
And nobody.
Cross country's $8.50 and 2. So I mean, they are getting more in a higher percentage. But I know what you're saying. I think the last time that was adjusted, it was probably done so with the idea that the $12.50 versus an $8.50, $9.50 was trying to make up for that additional season. But again, this is your all. So as a board, you have the right to change it in any way that you would like.
I just know the hours and hours and hours.
I'm certain, yeah.
That are spent and all of that. And I never did think that it was enough
My first
for
year.
for the full year.
My first year as superintendent, I put a committee together of coaches, and I think we had 2 meetings. And after the second meeting, I said, nope, because I had a cheerleading coach on there, I had a track coach on there, a football coach on there, and I tried to meet and get everybody to try to readjust it. And every coach will tell you how hard they work and how much more they're worth than the other coaches. How some people have 2 assistants and some don't. I'm telling you, it was
I remember
one of
that.
my worst
And
experiences I've
they
ever
say
had.
that we actually end up getting about 50 cents an hour.
Yes,
Yeah,
Or
yes.
less.
babysitters make more.
They break it down for you, and yeah. And I don't disagree with you. One of the things we talked about was cheerleaders. Lori was a part of that committee, and we talked about
Okay,
that.
well, I want to say, none of the cheerleading coaches have talked to me. I'm not here advocating
Oh,
for
no.
any one person. I'm advocating for the position,
I understand.
and I really feel they deserve more.
If
That's-
you as a
that's my
board,
opinion.
this is your policy, just like they all are. So at any time, you guys can make changes and recommendations to policies and bring them back. We'll put them on agendas and we'll send them out, and you guys can vote on them.
Look at it at a budget retreat.
Yeah, print it out, bring your
All-
suggestions, and we'll look at it.
all coaches are severely, because I think football, the amount of time that Josh put in, and he only had one game a week, but
You have to take care of the playing facility, the weight room,
and then in basketball, we play 2 games a week.
stuff with push moves, the infield every week, twice a week.
Baseball, 3 or 4 or 5 games. I think all we do.
No, I did not mean to open a can of worms.
I told you. I'm telling you, you sit down with
But that's how I
coaches.
feel.
No, you're gonna have, we're gonna have, if we degrade, we're gonna have to do it, like, because it was like with Dr. Miller that time with 11, when he tried to get the service personnel and teachers to work out, you can't do that, because, cheerleading coach will say, well, I want more than football, we're gonna have to be the ones, and maybe look at some other counties to see how they.
I have them. I'll bring them all to you.
Okay.
Sarah got them not too long ago. I'll tell you, our coaches work really, really
Ladies,
hard and
the
get very
ladies
little
want to
pay
take-
for what they do. They don't do it for the money. Huh?
Well,
Make a motion,
we probably need to go ahead and approve varsity soccer.
Right.
So that
I
can
think you
be
can
in
approve
there.
soccer and then
And
revisit
then
it.
we can look at changing, we'll look at it.
I make a motion to approve the soccer
Well,
I
salary.
think, did we do that?
just the soccer, the whole thing.
Oh, you gotta approve the whole document, because it's one.
Yeah, and then we could look at it.
I'll make a motion to approve the
We've
salary
already
scale.
made a motion.
The motion was already on.
Oh, okay.
You just needed to vote.
We're ready to vote.
Think so.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So it's 4-0.
We'll get that on the, budget retreat.
It'd be good to have a list of actually what the dollar amount that we're paying out to of each coach.
We can
Yeah,
do that
well,
too.
other than, I think we'll think when we see the amount at the bottom, when
Yeah.
you're getting those percents. Not that it's enough,
No.
but I think that we need to look at it. Okay, and item C on here is approval of application for permission to use Hardy County School Facility, attachment 7. I think that's Mr. Mack.
I think that's been withdrawn, hasn't it, Mr. Stutler?
What else?
Mr. McGregor's request to use your gym during June 23rd to the 27th.
Yeah, because we figured we can't have any activities here this summer with the work going on.
Yeah,
Motion to approve.
so we're gonna just we're gonna withdraw it. So you can,
No action taken.
no action taken, yeah, because it's not something that we need, because he can't do it here because of the HVAC.
So he's
and
gonna have to
roofing
fill
work.
out a new
He'll
paper.
have to find a different one, because the principal has to sign off on it.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Board member superintendent discussion. No action may be taken.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
Floor samples for the Moorfield Elementary School exterior gymnasium are here. Anything you want to
Have
add?
2 more coming.
2 more are coming. So we'll get those to you to review as soon as,
Did you feel this?
We get
It looks
them?
like it'd be good for those. You wanted to put those lines in, but it has a rough area to it that might get dark.
This is what, this,
I think they're 2 different.
Yeah. That's pretty soft, it looks like, I mean, like it would be good. But if you do your basketball, feel that, Jan. You could get dirt ground in that pretty good.
yeah, but it's cleanable. I mean, that's.
Oh, that smooth is nice.
While we're looking at that and passing those around, we'll get you the additional samples as they come in. Eugene Rinker, you guys had asked if he would look at the playground at Moorfield Intermediate School. Mr. McGregor said that he would reach out to him and have him come and just give an estimate on what it would take to get that drainage system taken care of at the MIS playground. So I just wanted to tell you that Mr. McGregor was getting that for us. The self-reflections that you all have to do, and I need to check with Roy. I can't tell who has and who has not completed them, but I have 3 board members that have completed their self-reflections and 2 that have not. So if you have not,
I haven't, so
I
what,
have.
I resent you the email today.
So Roy
And it has that link in it, and you just have to click on the link, and if you can just do it before the next board meeting, we'll put it on the next agenda and get you guys to, just approve it. We just have to discuss the results and approve it as part of our scorecard for the designation for the board members. So I'll get that to you, I already sent that to you today, right before the meeting, I checked again, so, you can just click the link and go through, fill it all in and submit it, and it'll come right to me.
I don't have it.
It's been a long time
It was
ago.
about-
I sent it again today.
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah, today, right before the meeting, I sent you another email.
See, the last thing that I have sent is, the work orders that were on Thursday.
This came today, I don't know, probably, what time we come down here, 3:30, probably 3 o'clock. Maybe her email needs logged into again. Because I'm sure you would have had more emails since then. Yeah, I sent it to you, Dix. Roy, Dixie, Janet, and 3 more.
Probably needs authenticated again.
Today at, 3:25.
Yeah, you may have to
If you log
sign
in,
in.
it'll tell you whether you did it or not, whether you have submitted it or not. I thought I did, I didn't check and it.
Yeah, I bet you-
Because
I bet
I've
your
been
email
looking for it, but
confirmed.
I didn't,
Yeah, it's in there in an old email too, but I bet your email just needs logging in again on your phone. And then the only other thing is, after we talked about the architectural firm and whether you guys should do that, I texted Joyce Van Gilder, who's
She's our SBA contact. She's an architect. but
yeah,
SBA
she's the
contact.
SBA person that is our person. And she said that a board member can sit on the committee, but it should only be one. Because you guys have to vote to approve my recommendation, so you shouldn't be part of the group deciding what the recommendation is. So you definitely not 3, because that would be a quorum. So if you all want to pick who wants to do that.
I nominate Dixie.
Second.
Dixie, or I'll let you know the date then.
Okay.
I'll text you, not email you, or you'll never get it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, it's like
it's Tuesday or Wednesday, but so we'll
Okay,
get you that.
no problem. Yeah, I still haven't gotten it, so something's wrong here. I'll have to look on my laptop.
And that's all.
Maybe make another visit to the,
We-
let's see.
We attended the training this weekend. It was, as far as I was concerned, it was one of the better ones we've had,
It's really good.
discussing legislation, all the acts. Jim had sent everybody the PowerPoint. If you have time, you probably need to sit down and read those if you haven't read them yet. There's a lot of changes and a lot of things that will be happening.
See, I haven't gotten that yet.
He actually sent that Saturday.
I've got some big problems.
Also, they were talking about meetings being viewed by the State Department. They are watching all the meetings, so it's best to do the best you can and not do anything that you shouldn't do in a meeting, for sure. Epic meeting, is that still one for the 22nd?
So yes, but it's an EPIC board member meeting.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's just the EPIC members
Okay.
that are supposed to attend that because it is a luncheon.
Okay.
And I emailed today and she's supposed to let me know who all we're gonna
Okay.
cater that, but it's for, I guess it would be you.
Yeah, she'd sent a number, but
Yeah,
was
okay.
it-
I emailed
Where-
her this
where
morning,
is it
but I
gonna be?
forgot to have, what is it?
where's it going to be?
It's gonna be in Mrs. Slack's classroom at Moorfield.
Oh, okay, that'll be good.
Yeah.
That'll be good. What were the issues with the payroll the other week?
The issues with payroll were that Grant County Bank, who is our bank, updated their software. And when they updated their software, it reset the parameters of the reports of what their system looks for in our payroll reports. So we sent the payroll reports, as you know, Peggy sends those religiously early. They received it, but it was almost a formatting issue, if that makes sense. So when it went in and looked at it to pull the information out, the new software wanted it in different places than how we sent it to them, because we sent it to them the way we always do. And Peggy actually had realized days before that there was an issue and had reached out to Grant County Bank and told them, and then followed up with Grant County Bank and then followed up again, and they said, no, it's fixed. And then at about 5:30, when our first teacher woke up, which was a kindergarten teacher that morning, and realized they didn't get paid, she reached out, and we all kind of immediately got notified different ways and jumped together to try to figure it out. Sarah worked with the Grant County Bank administration early, and multiple times throughout the day we talked. We were told it would be a certain time. We were told it would be another certain time. We were told it would be another certain time. But we were prepared to essentially paper print checks if we had to, and hadn't received any confirmation.
That's something they think they have corrected, though.
They have corrected it, because Grant County actually gets paid. We get paid on the 10th and the 25th, and they get paid on the 15th and the 30th. So I believe those are the correct dates, but we're offset by about 5 days. So when we had the issue, they worked with the State Department to get the formatting correct, and then automatically went to Grant County Schools and said, try this, and they were paid a few days later on time and with no issue. So we were assured it would never happen again, and we've made it clear that it can't happen
Well,
again.
right.
Because that was the most, we've dealt with a lot of crazy things, but probably for me, that was one of the most stressful things, because it 100% impacted everyone,
Yes, it did.
every single person.
Yes.
And
You don't mess with
appreciated
people's pay.
absolutely not, no. But we did get it, they got it fixed.
That's good.
Thank you for bringing that up, because you're right, I wanted to tell you guys about that, and I'd forgotten.
I received a call about the grass at East Hardy. When the track meet the other day, it was tall, they said, and I didn't know if the new contract didn't start till July or.
No, it started, I think, officially April 15th, April 16th.
It did, so the Nelson who had it last year waited until the 14th of April to tell us that he wasn't not going to cut. Was putting in a bind. When he was here at Moorfield Middle, because he was also on this one, he ran over a shot put. Somebody had lost a shot put in the grass and tore up one of his machines, which put him even further behind. So I've been in him pretty hard, but wanted to defend him at the same time. He did have some issues. Two things that really impacted him. One was Nelson waited that long, and then two, him hitting that shot put that the track team left out. Put one of his machines down and really put him behind. But he's playing catch up pretty quick now.
I noticed.
Saturday evening, there were 2 people working at East Hardy High School,
Mowing.
mowing,
Yeah.
weed eating. It was looking really good.
Good.
They
Good.
were, and then some people with the baseball got onto him and shut him down. Yeah, I don't know, I guess the noise, but, so if you go over, you see it partially done. I got a complaint from the contractor today saying that some people with the baseball ran them off.
Yeah, they can't do that either, so we'll have to let them know. They don't have
Yeah.
to tell him
I did,
unless it's you.
I did.
Keep
What was
going.
it?
East Hardy.
Ran them off Saturday?
They had a ball game, they told me they got ran off. I don't know what they-
Well, the ball game was over.
It was Saturday.
Yeah, but they just started,
The ball game Saturday started at about 2:00.
because some of the players were still in their baseball uniforms coming to the dinner.
Well, and they don't mow the baseball field, so as long as it's out and around, away from people, they should, I mean, if it's loud, it's loud.
Well,
It's a baseball game, you can see
I
safe.
did run them off one year when they were doing ACT testing at school, and they were over, this is years ago, they were mowing, it was a massive disruption.
Yeah, I don't think they do it during the school day anymore.
That was a Saturday, and it was
Oh.
it was a Saturday, so I did stop them because it was driving kids crazy for testing.
Well, whoever was there, it was really good.
Good.
They were doing a really nice job.
I think it'll
Everything
be okay.
looked good.
Oh, I think it'll pan out. I just
It's
thought,
gonna take a bit to work the kinks out.
Yeah,
sure.
Because there's areas that he didn't mow, that he was under the assumption that he didn't have to. We're correcting as we go. So I think he'll be really good once we get it all lined
Sure,
out. We just
right.
gotta get it all lined out.
Exactly.
But it's Murphy's Law, and that's what it's been for him so far.
Well, right,
We're gonna
right.
have it all.
Well, when you have a track meet like they were having, whatever it was the other day, Thursday, you know, you had a lot
Yeah,
of people
people were
there and
there.
it was,
oh, trust me, yeah, we've been talking.
that's all I had.
I've got a couple things on these, invoices that I guess it's the check register.
The registry.
It would be helpful, and I know that, they put in an amount that they think is gonna cover for the whole year. And, but a lot of times, I mean, I don't know what this is for, and we're approving it.
So you're talking about, so these are the bills that have already been paid. Everybody on that list should be on a pre-approved vendor list that you approve at the beginning of the year. Go ahead, Sean.
Those have already been approved at prior board meetings. These are just the register that goes with the minutes.
Right.
When you see that, it's already been approved in that
Yeah, you're not approving. the
itemized
vendor.
list.
Okay,
Those are just checks that she has written.
okay.
That goes with the minutes because we have to put those in the minute books.
Okay, well, and this is all well and good, but they might have been approved before, but we don't know what they're for.
You don't know what the vendor does? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
And I mean, okay. First off, we're supposed to approve the invoices before they're paid. And we do it after the fact.
Yeah, which we talked about that before. We can do it the other way. It wouldn't be in the right timeline. So things would be late.
Okay.
That's what.
I don't
Sarah's
know what
concerned
the solution is to that, but like one that's on here, was, let me just give you an example. It's on page 13. It's the Sonic. That's $8,010.60 for supplies.
I can speak to what that is. If you all remember the first meeting that I attended, we got the temperature monitoring system in all of our fridges and freezers. And so that had been approved back in the fall, and then they shipped them in March, and we got them all deployed and made sure that they were working, and then we paid the bill. So that is what the Sonic line item is.
Okay.
I don't think that was actually approved. When you said that at the other meeting, I don't remember that coming to us.
You didn't have to approve it because it was only $8,000. So it wouldn't have come to you guys.
Right.
Yeah, I think y'all just didn't realize at the time that board, we approve it, we sign the PO, Sarah and I do, but unless it's above that amount of, I think,
Above
15
what
or
amount?
20. It's 15,000, I think. It was 15, now it's 20. Hold on, actually, I have it. Oh, I said it taped on the inside of my thing. Did I get a new folder? There's a certain amount based upon that scale that you all have to approve. No, it goes out for bid if it's above 15, and I think it might even actually be
5, you have to solicit bids. You don't have to advertise bids. 10, you have to advertise bids.
And then 15, I think the 10 went to 15, didn't it? Everything shifted up 5,000 here this last time around, but,
I still think that's a number, I believe.
okay. And then there's a certain amount then that comes to you guys that you have to approve, that the board has to approve before it's purchasing.
So why are we receiving these things that are under that amount?
This is just the stuff that's already been paid. So you're not approving the
Okay.
purchase,
Yeah.
you're just getting the
Okay,
check register.
we're just seeing what
Approving
the
the
check
minutes.
Just the
register
check
is.
And it's part of the minutes. So you're just getting that so that you can see that these are the things that have already been paid. And I think we've adjusted it a couple different times based upon how you all wanted to see it. And it's just hard to get any other report than that to show you, because it comes
Okay.
right out of Weavis to show you what it looks like. So it's a little misleading in the presentation, but you're just getting the checks that have been processed.
Okay, and will you find out what has changed and what the new amount is?
Sure. And I'm sorry, I had
Because
that.
they
in
did
the back
tell
of
us that in training and told us to be cognizant of that.
Yeah, and Sarah's looked at that a few different times, and I think her concerns with the having you guys approve things before she pays the bills is simply that because of the way the meetings fall and the way we get some of our invoices. You'd be good with the Clean Air Solutions people, but other than that, I don't know that we would have things that would run behind.
Well, I'm sure that other counties do that.
They do. Counties do it different. They do
Right.
do
Most
it
of
that
them
way.
approve to be paid and then are paid.
Well, we have the pre-approved and with the pre-approved.
Yeah,
stuff
but I'm not
now,
talking
but
about the pre-approved. I'm
you're
talking about the ones.
individual bills.
right.
Good topic for the budget retreat.
It
And
is.
then she can herself explain her concerns, because I
Well,
haven't
right.
touched on it.
I know there's concern, but when that state code says you need to do it that way,
We can definitely
Right.
put it on there and.
just don't want anyone to get in trouble somewhere down the line that something's approved after the fact.
I think it would be helpful if at the budget retreat, if we are in violation of that,
Yeah,
and it would make bills late, which I don't think we want to happen. I think that we would need to have a system that if we do disagree with the payment, that we could go in and rescind it.
well, and I think
Something
that's
to
one of the
rescind.
things, I think that's exactly one of the things that was an issue before when we talked about it was, like, there are certain things that we have to do day to operate, that you can't wait every 2 weeks to say, yeah, you can buy
Right.
that. And so one of her other concerns we had talked about was, we've basically already gotten the service, so if we have to put tires on a vehicle, let's just say, then we've already bought the service anyway, so you guys could say, no, don't pay it, but we've already gotten the service, so we have to pay it anyway. So everything is just in such a terrible order, the way that code reads, that it makes it hard. The only way you could truly do it by code would be we do nothing until you've approved. Because even though I can purchase up to a certain amount without the board's approval, you still have to approve the invoices, which then is a little bit contradictory because we've already done all of the things. So the only thing you can do is say, no, don't pay it, but the service has already been provided,
Yeah,
which is really silly when you
Yeah,
think
it
about
is.
how the thing
it
how the-
is.
they want you to operate. But we can talk through it and put a plan in place.
But we're not asking about the things that are under a bid amount. It's mostly those that are over bid amount.
I know, but I guess what Melvin's saying, correct me, Melvin, if I'm wrong, the code says that you all need to approve the payment of all invoices prior to them being paid. All invoices, no matter how much the
Except the
amount.
pre-approved. The pre-approved doesn't have to be, like the ones Barbie pays every week and all that.
Right, like the regular bills. But so these things that are already, that you're looking at now that are things that we've decided to purchase, even though we're by law allowed to authorize the purchase, it's the approval of the payment that's the issue. And so if we waited for you to say, go ahead, we may need something ahead of time. We've already done the thing we've asked for. We've
Yeah.
already purchased it. So then
Sure.
really what you're approving is us paying for it. And I don't know how in the world we'd not approve a payment
Yeah,
of something we already purchased. Because then you would, one way or the other, it puts you in a really bad place, I guess, is what I'm saying. Because you could vote no.
well, why don't you have Warren look at it?
Okay.
He can look at the code and see if that's
If there's
really
a-
true. Tell him that it's kind of, it's saying we're doing something wrong when actually,
Oh, yeah, it's very contradictory. And I know that Sarah has told them at the State Department multiple times when she's, we really need to change this because it's not in the right order. I mean, you can't truly do it correctly either way. We'll have her look at it.
Okay.
And have him look at it.
anybody else have anything under board and superintendent discussion? Okay, move on to future agenda items. We've added a couple of things to our board retreat. Okay, so we come on down and we see the announcements, May 14th, the CTE awards, 22nd, we have graduation, our budget retreats the 27th, and we also have, that's when our next meeting is. Okay, mission statements and accomplishments. Does anybody have anything to share with that?
East Hardy High School FFA banquet was delicious. They had a good turnout of parents and families. Best macaroni and cheese ever, maybe not ever, but the Pro Start kids over there did an awesome job with macaroni and cheese. Creamy, delicious, bubbly, hot.
We need to know how
I mean,
to
the whole,
make that.
the whole meal was good, but the macaroni and cheese was the star of the show. We need to send condolences to Bonnie Price. Death of her dad. Bonnie Price, this year.
Is that our Tommy's bus driver?
No.
Grant County.
I don't remember his name. Hold on.
He was in Ertel, wasn't he?
Ertel.
Anybody else have anything? Okay. Move on to personnel.
Gosh, I got that one. Keep file of paper. I've got notes in it. Oh, there we go. We were doing 24 last, right? Or first. All right, I got to do a few of these separately. So I'm going to recommend the approval of personnel hiring for the 25-26 school year. Jordan Mungold, Universal Pre-K MES.
I'll have to abstain for the vote.
Yes.
Did you mention?
Yeah.
Did you second?
Awesome.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Melvin?
You need to just stretch your legs.
So it's approved, 3-0.
All righty. I'll recommend the approval of Odessa colors for the April 28th day without pay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve a one-day absence, April 28th for Odessa Colors. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay. So it's 4-0 or 0-4. Was not approved.
All right, and then you have, I'll recommend the approval of 6 and 7 Kelsey Roberts, are both of those. One is April 23rd for one day, one was February 19th for a half a day.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. So 0-4 again. They are not approved, items 6 and 7.
I recommend the approval of the remaining personnel actions for May 5th, 2025.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the remaining recommended personnel actions. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and they're approved 4-0.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, yeah.
What we got? Good. Motion to approve.
Second.
That'll be a second.
All those in favor of adjournment? Aye. So we're adjourning for, what's the year ratify the suspension? Is that what you get over?